This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
An hour after we arrived, they began to dance and make a great celebration that lasted all night long. Although, for us, there was neither rejoicing nor sleep, as we were awaiting the moment when they would sacrifice us. In the morning, they again gave us fish and roots, and treated us so well that we were somewhat reassured, and we lost some of our fear of being sacrificed. The same day I saw on one of those Indians an item of barter, and I knew that it was not from the ones that we had given them. Asking where those items had been acquired, they responded to me by signs that other men like us who were farther back had given it to them. Seeing this, I sent 2 Christians and 2 Indians to show them those people, and very near there they came upon them, and they were also coming to look for us, because the Indians who lived there had told them about us. And these men were the captains Andrés Dorantes and Alonso del Castillo, with all the men of their raft. Upon encountering us, they received a great fright to see us in the condition we were in, and it gave them great sorrow not to have anything to give us, because they brought no clothing other than what they were wearing. They remained there with us, and told us how on the 5th day of that same month their raft had capsized 1.5 leagues from there, and that they had escaped without losing anything. And altogether we agreed to repair their raft, to go forward in it those of us who had the strength and will to do so, the others to remain there until they recovered to the point where they could go along the coast as they were able, and wait there until God should take them with us to the land of the Christians. And as we contemplated it, so we put it into effect. Before we had launched the raft, Tavera, a man of gentle birth from our company, died, and the raft we planned to take met its end, and it could not remain afloat, and later was sunk. As we remained in the circumstances that I described, with most of the men naked and the weather too severe to walk and swim across rivers and bays, and without any provisions or the means to carry them, we decided to do what necessity dictated, which was to spend the winter there. And we also agreed that 4 of the most hardy men should go to Pánfilo, believing that we were near there, and if God our Lord should see fit to carry them there, they should give notice of how we remained on that island, and of our great need and hardships. These men were very great swimmers. Most of the expeditionaries' inability to swim was a great hindrance to them. One was named Álvaro Fernandez, a Portuguese carpenter and sailor. The second was called Mendes, and the third, Figueroa, who was a native of Toledo. The fourth, Estudillo, a native of Zafra. They took with them an Indian from the island of Avia. These 4 Christians having departed, a few days later the weather turned so cold and there were such great storms that the Indians could not pull up the roots. And from the waterways where they fished there was no yield whatsoever. As the houses were so unprotected, the people began to die. 5 men who were in Hamho on the coast came to such dire need that they ate one another, until only one remained, who, because he was alone, had no one to eat him. The names of these men were Sierra, Diego Lopez, Corral, Palacios, Gonzalo Ruiz. The Indians became very upset because of this, and it produced such a great scandal among them that without a doubt, if at the start they had seen it, they would have killed them, and all of us would have been in grave danger. Finally, in a very short time, of us 80 men who arrived there from both ends of the island, only 15 remained alive. And after these men had died, a stomach ailment befell the Indians of the land, from which half of them died. And they thought that we were the ones who had killed them, and taking this to be very true, they planned among themselves to kill those of us who remained. When they came to put it into effect, an Indian in whose possession I had been placed told them that they should not believe that we were the ones who killed them, because if we had such power, we would not have allowed so many of our own to die, as they saw, without our being able to prevent it, and that since no more than a few of us now remained, and since none of us did any harm or ill, the best thing to do would be to leave us alone. And our Lord God granted that the others followed this advice and opinion, and thus they were diverted from their intention. To this island we gave the name Malhado, meaning Isle of Ill Fate. The people we found there, the Capocas and Han, are large and well-proportioned. They have no weapons other than bows and arrows, which they employ with great skill.